Telecom Peanut? We're going to find out as we move into picks and bans for game number 1 between SK Telecom and the ROX Tigers here at the OGN Champions Spring Grand Finals. Nidalee, the first ban to hit the board.
Actually quite surprising, but Peanut does have a 100% win rate on Nidalee this season. The Maokai will be denied straight away, but the last time a team tried to pinch the jungle pool against the Tigers, banning out Janair in their last game, banned out Nidalee, Graves, Kindred, took the Elise early on in the draft. Peanut just went on to Lee Sin, and they still won that game pretty convincingly.
And this is what I kind of expected, Monty. We saw so many series. Just think back to SKT versus Jinair. SKT could pick Siva Maokai on the red side all 4 games. They won 3-1 overall. Siva Maokai already banned. So many meta picks being banned. And these are a lot of ban adaptations from previous rounds of the draft.
That's right. Rise, Azir, Echo, banned out as well.
The Rise is a little bit more dangerous in the hands of the ROX Tigers because they've shown a flexibility of playing it both in mid and top lane. And even though Duke, of course, famously back when he was on the KT Bullets as Leopard, played that Rise, he hasn't had as much time with it this season.
So Poppy first pick, and then immediately Alistar Graves from the ROX Tigers.
Surprised to see the Graves actually reached for Peanut. This is one of the junglers he's not prioritized. Of course, he's played the meta champions. Elise, Kindred, Nidalee, and Graves are his main champions. He is 31-4 on the main jungle pool across regions, 89% win rate with the meta jungler.
Wow, okay. Kindred and Lucian picked up.
Trundle's still available.
That's right.
But they could go for the Nautilus pick instead.
Yeah, Nautilus Callista, the hovers from ROX Tigers, switching that over to Corki. They may throw that to mid lane. They may save it for AD carry, just giving themselves some flexibility with that last red side ban. And of course, the Korean caster tribute hovers for Bang. Will they take that Tahm Kench?
And the question for the Tigers is, where are they going to put that? Well, they're going to put the Nautilus in the top side, but are we going to see something a little bit different here? The Trundle not coming out, even though they see the Nautilus, and they could be going right back to that Zilean that proved very successful in conjunction with the Tahm Kench.
And also, Zilean Poppy is, of course, the KT Rolster duo of picks that propelled that team to so much success. They, of course, dropped in the semifinals. Tahm Kench locked in, of course. Great to cancel out the CC of things like the North, and that's Ezreal locked in.
Whoa, all right. Haven't seen Ezreal in a while, but Prey, of course, has been Ezreal, he's been like one of the best Ezreals out there for like the good part of 4 years now. So it's never really a surprise to see him pick that up.
The triple AD on the side of the ROX Tigers. You look at the wave clear, okay, double bombs, it's 1 round of wave clear, but that's all there really is on the side of SKT. Lucian is fine as a guest parry, but it's going to be triple AD, so it's going to be very much about the siege on the side of ROX Tigers. SKT, a lot on Duke especially to get in the back line.
It's something new too, because typically SK Telecom has been the one who's been carrying the Ezreal torch towards the latter part of the season when a lot of teams dropped him off, but like you're saying, without a lot of wave clear or early pressure, as long as they play around the grouping of SK Telecom, because it's that Poppy Zilean dive combination that becomes so dangerous. It is less dangerous with the Tahm Kench instead of, say, an Alistar or a Braum support or even a Trundle support coming through and locking you down underneath the turret, because there's less engaged potential. But there's always that Abyssal Voyage, taking people behind the turret and then having the Zilean and Tahm Kench there to save people during the dive. As long as ROX Tigers can play around the turret dives, they should set up for a strong late game where they can safely siege.
Well, Faker on that Zilean once again. It'll be interesting to see what he's got with that champion after seeing it for just a short time at the end of the Champions playoffs. And Bang on that Lucian, a champion he's dominated on before, and of course Prey on the classic Ezreal.
Surprised to see no Braum ban, no Trundle ban, no pick either.
Yeah.
Really interesting in this support matchup.
Yeah, we'll bring the Tahm Kench in again, drill on the Alistar, and it is time, guys. Game number 1, SK Telecom versus the ROX Tigers at the Champion Spring Grand Finals. Let's get in the game. right, guys, welcome to Summoner's Rift. SK Telecom taking on the ROX Tigers, OGN Champion Spring Grand Finals. I gotta say, that may be my new favorite finals intro from all 4 years we've been doing this tournament.
It's pretty damn good.
So good. ROX Tigers on the red side, SK Telecom taking up the blue side. And a battle, a World Championship Finals rematch. It's gonna be a great best of 5.
No other way to consider it, Doa. This is the way it always is here. And a World Finals rematch is big.
Hello.
Okay,
Wow, walking right into the rush. Prey taking a lot of damage. Has to burn that flash. Flash of Wolf. He's going to eat him up. Yum, yum. Is it going to be first blood, though? I don't know. Prey popping that summoner heal to get away. Action right off the bat here, but Prey somehow, some way escapes with his life.
Gorilla skilling the headbutt there just to try and knock the Lucian away at level 1, but
yeah,
it's not going to be too helpful in the laning phase. Looks like we will get standard lanes. Bray heads back immediately on the recall. 2 summoners traded each for the teams.
But you have to say, big summoner trade advantage for SK Telecom. Both summoners on the support compared to both summoners on the AD carry down. ROX could have just swapped it up and sent their bot lane. Sent their team bot lane to enact a lane swap to avoid 2v2 laning with an Ezreal with no summoners, but they're going head to head.
You know, not to mention the fact that Prey's missing out on some XP, having to walk all the way back to lane. And Ezreal's a mobile AD carry, but like you said, lack of those summoners is going to definitely hurt.
Absolutely. You see Blank here coming over for the blue buff, so pathing buff to buff. They already got the ward onto the red buff of Peanut. They actually can contest here in the enemy jungle if they so choose, but they'll keep eyes on Peanut no matter what.
So we've seen some innovative early swaps. We've seen teams that like to just go for standard lanes and after the first purchase, start the lane swap. Then we've theorized maybe that's because of Rift Herald priority, but of course ROX Tigers, when they played the Ezreal earlier in the season, loved to pick up a tier on Prey, get him in a solo lane, and ensure that there was no lane pressure as he charged up the tier, because Ezreal famously, after that first back, doesn't buy combat stats and finds it hard to stand up 2v2 in lane.
Man, there was a point in time where Bang was level 3 to Prey's level 1. It's rough. He's going to be able to catch up, but CSing under turret might be a bit tough. Here comes Wolf, going to try to mess with the Ancient Krug. Oh, nope, smited away by Peanut. Smote. The Ancient Krug is no more.
Kuro has to fade away towards the bottom side of the map right now. Very worried about another invade. There we go.
Oh, yep, that's right. Blank coming in. Kuro burns that flash right away. He's got the heal as well. They're going to keep chasing him. Is Kuro going to go down here? Is this first blood? Waiting so long. Use the summoner. They're going to give it over to Blank, and first blood goes to SK Telecom.
And he faded down towards that bottom side, but he was too far forward in the lane, so didn't anticipate the gank coming up around the top side of the river, and they gave it over to Blank intentionally because they know how Peanut likes to play. They want to get in Peanut's face and stop him from invading early.
Worth noting that Kuro was really faded in, used the Valkyrie aggressively, then just had flash to get away. No mana, no way to turn around. Nice passing from Blank. Our big question marks for SKT was the top side of the map. The new members, Duke and Blank. Blank so often took that farming identity, but this game is actually on the front foot compared to Peanut, of all people.
Now speaking of Peanut, coming in from behind, going after the Krugs on blue side. I wonder if maybe we're going to see some action in the bot lane. We'll see. That mid lane, of course, very campable now as well with the summoners down on that Corki. Only the Valkyrie to get away. And here comes Wolf. They may try something again. Curl coming down, Valk's out to the river. They're going to keep chasing him. A flash from Baker. Going to go for the stun. He gets it. Wolf is there. There's the slow. There's the exhaust. Here comes Peanut. Baker turning around, and it's a little bit too much action. Whoa, Smeb nearly losing the 1-1 to Duke at the same time.
Surprising, maybe the communication wasn't there because actually Duke had the lane pressure in bottom. There was going to be no reinforcements from 100 HP Smeb. It was a really nice aggressive flash from the Zillion, but they just called off the aggression when it looked like with all the information, they probably could have got another kill onto Kuro.
Maybe. It was close. TPUs for Smeb to get back in the lane. Duke had burned his as well. Gorilla moving back up the top, so maybe a little bit of a break in the action, but you know, when the dust settles from all of that, SK Telecom with a nice, comfortable little gold lead early on in this game.
Wolf playing with a lot of roaming and aggression on the map early, and he's been enabled. They push that lane, and that means that Wolf has been unleashed on the map, free to move down into the enemy jungle or into the mid lane to try and make these plays, and they're capitalizing very well on the ROX Tigers' mistakes. But that said, the lack of the support has allowed Prey to at least catch up a little bit when it comes to that farm deficit that he accrued early on.
But I think we have to talk about the matchups and what losing this early game pressure means, because you look on the ROX Tigers side, you expect Corki to have lane control of the lane. That hasn't been the case. Killed once, forced out of lane a second time, was level 4 to level 6 until he picked up a bit of experience. Ezreal's already going to have a power trough, and they're having those issues in the top lane. And we just saw the Poppy almost solo kill Nautilus. So how are they going to find enough map pressure for Ezreal to get time farming up his tier? Because right now, ROX Tigers are losing every lane at the same time.
It's going to take a long time, yeah.
And SK Telecom, this is the start they need. When we take a look at their composition, they've got an ability to team fight in the late game, but what happens when ROX starts to ward their flanks with this siege composition? See Nina coming in here just for a ward clear. What happens when ROX starts to ward their flanks? And SK Telecom has to hard engage, because they basically, with the Tahm Kench, they either have to use the Abyssal Voyage from behind, or they're going to have to use a Poppy TP flank. And if they fail either of those, ROX is going to have a very easy time kiting. They've got enough crowd control and disengage with the Nautilus and the Alistar to make this work.
May see some action down here. Blank coming in. There's Duke running in with the knockup on the ultimate, trying to keep Smeb from getting away with that anchor. Smeb waits for the W from Poppy to go away, but it doesn't matter. Blank picks up the first and second kills of the game.
And the tendencies of the ROX Tigers are coming back to haunt them. There is no ward on the bottom side of the map anywhere, and Peanut is just farming up his jungle. That's why I'm surprised to see the Graves. Graves is the true farming jungler of the meta picks. Kindred has that, goes for the Devourer, but the map pressure Kindred has had, and just the fact that ROX Tigers are pushing up lanes with literally no vision. Again, bad tendencies, and they're being made to pay for them by SKT.
This is a disaster for ROX Tigers so far. They're nearly 2,000 gold behind it, 8 minutes already. Well, Bang stopped from recalling. His head butted back there. Faker harassing Kuro, but yeah, the Tigers have quite a big hole to crawl out from already.
They're going to be waiting so long on these power spikes too, SK Telecom. They have the tools to set up with the Zillion. They've got the double TP. They can dive these turrets. They do need to get a larger gold lead, but 1,500 before 10 minutes is an excellent position for them to leverage a mid-game power spike from. But if they go late on this, ROX should have a compositional advantage, and it will be very hard for SK Telecom to engage properly with a Tahm Kench instead of a more standard melee engage support.
The ROX Tigers have a god-tier siege comp. They have Nautilus, Alistar. You cannot ask for more of a frontline for triple AD carry. But if you miss your mid-game power spikes, the Trinity Force is late, Ezreal's damage is late, the grouping phase is delayed because you're losing lanes and don't have the items, then it's going to be difficult, because whatever you say about SKT's late game team fighting, they still have Zillion, they still have Kindred. So hard to kill anyone. The engage is difficult, but the team fight certainly, if one is actually forced, if they can get some dragons or barons and force ROX Tigers to fight, tricky to pull off.
Yeah, definitely. But again, if the ROX Tigers, if they set up, sure, Zillion is great, but this is a composition that I feel the ROX Tigers built to counter the Zillion. The Zillion ult, the Chrono Shift, is much less effective when you're not being burst down. If you're just being slowly whittled and poked down to death, they can simply wait for the Chrono Shift to disappear, wait for the Lamsu Spike to go away, and continue just poking.
If this game is fought under turrets, that's where ROX Tigers wants to play. They have a big compositional advantage. If SKT starts a Baron or gets 4 Dragon stacks, that's where I feel like ROX Tigers may struggle to actually win a team fight, because that's when the Chrono Shift, forced fights around an objective, can be very powerful.
Yeah, looks like they may be actually setting up for the Dragon here, swapping this lane, everybody heading down to that side of the map. Package up on Kuro right now. The Scuttler has been taken by Peanut. They know if they can get this first Dragon of the game, they can delay it.
Oh, but here we go. Another gank coming in. Wolf shows up with Bang in the bot lane trying to go on Smeb, but here comes Peanut from behind. Can they equalize? Kuro coming down too. SK Telecom may be making a mistake, but here comes Blank. It's a 4v4. Who's going to go down first? Kuro trying to get away. Teleport brings Faker to the party. A flash from Smeb avoids a stun from the bombs, and ROX Tigers just backing away. SK Telecom has taken a bit more damage though. I don't know if they can get the Dragon out of this.
Nice play from Kuro. The last time these two teams played, the one thing from Kuro was picked LeBlanc, had lane pressure, and roamed first. In this game, forced Faker to use his teleport because he roamed bottom first. okay, it's a trade, but when you're behind, you'll take that trade if you're ROX Tigers.
Especially getting the TP down, because that is absolutely crucial to be able to dive some of these turrets and be out and playing on the map. The package doing some work there for the faster rotation from Kuro.
Right.
And they got the poke. They didn't lose anybody. They nearly actually turned that around and picked up a kill or two. And it was actually
close.
a really good Tom Kench play from Wolf. He basically just nullified Ezreal's ultimate right there, taking him out of harm's way, out of that true shot barrage.
Can you remember a ROX Tigers game all season where every lane is losing in CS, top, mid, bot, because of the pressure from Blank, the great pathing? SKT, they're just in such a dominant position, but if they can't turn it into Dragons, then we get to that mid game you've talked about, Monty. Then we get to the play under turrets, and you can't itemize against that.
Well, speaking of Dragons, Blank deciding to try to solo it right now. About 12 minutes in as Faker just hammers away at that mid lane turret. Looks like SK Telecom's going to get it. Here comes Wolf for a little bit of support, no pun intended. And that first dragon will go over to SK Telecom. So options running out for the ROX Tigers. SKT, you can see that 74.2% win rate when they take the first dragon. They've got it.
You know they have map pressure when Blank doesn't have smite for that dragon contest, but knew there was no way, because of the lanes in the early game, for ROX Tigers to react, and they're free dragon.
Yeah. Not bad. Duke and Smeb still tussling in the top lane. So standard lanes now. For each player, the culling pop, Prey taking a bit of damage before Gorilla successfully body blocks that.
Prey went for the Mana Moon first, didn't have the gold values to hit the Iceborne Gauntlet, which is the preferential rush because it gives you more lane control, having the AoE pushing. He just got what he could. Turret is so low in mid.
Yeah, Faker's going to get the first turret of the game in favor of SK Telecom. So how about that? Kills, turrets, dragons, everything going to SKT.
And this is so perfect for SKT. This is exactly what they want, because they can push up the mid lane, and now Faker, even without that teleport, is free to roam.
Yeah, Peanut just forced away from that blue buff.
He's free to roam into the side lanes, and now they can just dive with the Zillion. So this is going excellently for SKT so far. I'm going to go ahead and take that blue buff. No Graves ultimate is going to steal that one away. Faker gets it.
You know, and this is why it was so hard for me to actually vote for ROX Tigers to win this thing, because SK Telecom just always shows up for finals. They have never lost a Champions Finals that they've been in.
SKT's preparation is just completely on your screens. Just the fact that they got the Graves pick out of Peanut, and then just their pathing and playing on the negative tendencies of ROX. On the fact that they love to overextend, Smeb especially, without vision, without even jungle coverage from Peanut. This isn't Nidalee. They've actually just given up their mid lane turret. Corki goes back to shop. Graves still in his jungle farming, and they lose all the HP.
Oh, they're sticking around a long time. Faker really going for it, a little bit too long maybe. Takes some damage on the way out, but nobody dies. That turret down to just a little bit of health remaining, maybe like 50.
And Faker loves to play this way. He loves to auto-attack turrets and just provide all the mid-pressure himself. Duke coming in.
Speaking of pressure, Duke trying to catch Peanut. Peanut has to flash, and that's another buff going to SKT. This has been a total rout in favor of SK Telecom so far.
Seems like it's open hunting season on Tigers, because wherever they go, once they took that mid lane turret, pushing up the vision, they knew that he wasn't at the Wolf camp. They can just push in freely onto an inner turret. That is so frequently over-aggressive play, but when they had that vision, there was only one flank the ROX Tigers could react from.
Yeah. I think someday when Wolf gets really rich and retires, he should just call his big mansion complex the Wolf camp. I think he should just do that. He's on his way. Looks like SK Telecom going to take the Rift Herald as well, adding that to the number of objectives they've gotten first this game. And it's already, I mean, crazy enough. We're on our way to a shutout for SKT here in game number 1.
And they see everybody from the ROX Tigers right there. They know what's going on. Great ward. And that's just going to waste a lot of time in the end. I mean, package is going to come up, but no one is able to really respond to that top side. And look at that. May have bought themselves a free turret. They're going to race over there with the package, but Duke is waiting. Has a sheen already, so he can hammering away. Looks like he's not going to test his luck, but now we're in a position with a Nautilus in the mid lane, so that actually really messed up the ROX Tigers lane assignments.
Wow.
One of the reasons that Corki was so popular this season outside of AD carry itemization is his lane pressure in mid. One of the highest pressure laners, itemizes so well into Trinity Force, chip damage, controls the lane. He should easily win against Zillion. Oh boy, Duke's lurking in the top side.
Hiding the bush, here he comes.
But without a turret, there's no lane control, Doa, so they has to go and find other lane assignments. Ezreal had to use his summoners at level 1. Has that item fall off when he's really waiting for his second item. In this case, the Iceborne Gauntlet. No control in mid lane, no control in the Ezreal lane, and Smeb was getting soloed out early. So they're completely reactionary for the proactive team of 2016 in the ROX Tigers.
Yeah, that is a fault of the Ezreal pick here. You know, you wonder, had they gone for a more aggressive carry in the laning phase? Because when you are already in a losing matchup, your lane swap to top is called, and you blow both summoners. I mean, we can talk about Blank versus Peanut, but so much of this game was dictated by Peanut having to stay on that top side of the map to avoid the dives. And you couldn't put pressure on the mid lane. The pressure in top lane meant that Wolf could roam and start to try and pick up kills.
Yeah, Blank harassing, taking some wolves, going after Peanut. Here comes Faker, flashes, doesn't get the stun though. Blank may have the damage. He's got the Kindred ult, they've got the Zillion ult. Zillion ult pop, gonna bring
Fake
Blank right back. Still in trouble though, Faker taking some turret hits. They're gonna have to back away. Bang, flashing over the wall, dodges at Ezreal Q. Wolf just came in the back lines. Whoa, nice TP from Smeb. Finds Faker in the back, and this is going to be bad for SK Telecom. Two-shot barrage dodged by Bang, but Blank's still on his own. Whoa, Gorilla low now. Big Culling comes through, blocked for the most part by Smeb. Blank just trying to do the damage he can. Still has a Kindred out. There's the Lamb, just might use now. Smeb low, and are they going to get him? They will. Here comes Duke with the re-engage, and SK Telecom turns the fight around.
ROX Tigers bit off more than they could chew. It wasn't just the gold difference. They had no mana on Kuro and Gorilla. Kuro was the one with the decent health bar, but he couldn't commit to the fight. Excellent re-engage from Duke. And that's another win for SKT.
And if we take a look at the items, it tells the story, right? No Trinity Force yet. There's the Abyssal Voyage coming through from Wolf. They're going to TP in here as well. Bang gets knocked around and ignited early by Gorilla. Prey and Bang duking it out, but Peanut already low from that dive. Smeb is going to make it through. There's the depth charge onto Faker. And right here, they have a chance to back out. They already got that preferable trade, but they continue on, and Smeb just doesn't have the damage to clean up this fight, and neither does Bray.
Gorilla and Kuro do nothing at the end of this fight. Understandable for Gorilla, but Kuro gets about 3 orders, no mana for any spell whatsoever, and that's why the re-engage from Duke is just at the right time. That's clean shot calling from SKT that was absent from so much of the season.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable dodge by Bang on the two-shot barrage too. The reaction time from this guy is crazy.
Well, it's just a damn shame for the ROX Tigers because when they came in, they got the early kill. They could have potentially translated that into a turret after poking them out, but they overcommit and they're not playing within their item power spikes. All they have to do is drag this out as long as possible, and getting a dragon off of that or getting a turret off of that and getting a kill may close that gold gap enough for them to turtle and hold out.
SK Telecom claiming their second dragon. Peanut trying to be aggressive onto Faker here for the moment. He's going to back away. Blank hopping over the wall. They've got what they came for, and Duke gets a bit more in the top lane with that tier 1 turret.
I mean, the crazy thing is, Monty, that even just time to farm is Wolf.
Grab onto Wolf, flashes right away, avoids the engage from Gorilla.
But a
He'll
kill
make it out.
and just time to farm. Get the Iceborne Gauntlet onto Great, just get some item timings, even if they can't get an objective. The fact that there's still no 2-item Ezreal at 20 minutes shows you just how bad this early game has been for ROX.
Yeah, save the top turret too, so many options. And I think that was really the straw that broke the camel's back here. It started out with excellent.
Well, Duke onto Peanut right away. Alt use. He's a little bit on his own in that 1v2, but he's poppy. He's pretty tanky.
Blank was there for pressure. Faker's so mobile from mid, so I guess he did have cavalry that was just off the screen, but the safe places for ROX Tigers to farm on this map are getting smaller and smaller as the full court press from SKT is in full display.
Yeah, very true. And if it weren't for Faker, they'd still have that perfect game going. Oh, Faker.
Tried that dive.
I thought you were the best.
He is looking much better on the Zillion this week than he has in the past.
Yeah,
we compared him a lot to Fly from KT. He was kind of the preeminent Zillion player.
That's right.
and he did lack a little bit, but today the bombs have been much more accurate. The pressure he's been able to put out on this champion has been insane.
Worth noting that you can compare this once again to the spring final a year ago. The same story of SKT getting time to play themselves into form in the playoff series versus the ROX Tigers having to wait, just evaluate what they're seeing on the screen, scrim against the slim opportunities they probably had as a lot of teams have gone on to holiday, and SKT have certainly seemed to play themselves into a lot of form.
Yeah, wow, nice dodge, man. Bang is just on fire today on this Lucian. Looking really good, and this is one of the champions we've seen Bang have incredible carry games on, and this season has really been about the 80 carries.
You may wonder why Duke's getting so much free time here. The ROX Tigers are just desperate to make a play. They know how far behind they are, and they're trying to find ways to take risks to get themselves back in the game, and that's going to just lose them a lot of farm and lane pressure. They know they're so far behind that if they don't do that, there's just no way they can make this work. So even trades or tower for tower trades would be fine if they can pick up a kill or two and just slow the momentum down. But SK Telecom has the vision, and they're playing passively at the right times to avoid the tower dives themselves. And that's leading the ROX Tigers into an ever deeper hole.
I mean, Monty, they have the vision because ROX Tigers have 0 turrets. They've taken down none. Every time they try and enter lanes, if they go for just standard lane assignments, they'll just become a point where they don't have vision, where they're too far pushed up with 2 or 1 turret down in the lane, and they'll get denied from farm that way anyway. So Smeb is doing his best to make the team plays, but as this game goes on, more and more farm is funneled over to SKT, and ROX are just completely reactionary in every part of the map.
Yeah. I love the way SKT played this early, too. Giving that first blood over to Blank so that he could kind of overcome his deficiencies. Not to say he's a deficient jungler. He's a very good jungler, but compared to Peanut. And look where they put the pressure, too. Onto the mid lane. Faker historically has a very good record against Kuro. Kuro tends to kind of collapse under Faker's pressure a lot of the time. Some of Faker's most famous plays, like his Yasuo versus Orianna play that he made a couple years back, have been against Kuro. Kuro doesn't do well against Faker's style.
Over the wall, onto Gorilla, doing some damage there. Whoa! Just blown up by Blank. Teleport coming in, brings Faker to the party. There's a nice stun onto Smeb. SK Telecom looking for another as Duke and Bang come from the bottom of this fight. Smeb in trouble, the package delivered by Kuro, but he's delivered himself to his own death. And SKT winning a big team fight here. Lamb's fight, keeping people alive. Prey trying to do the damage he can on this Ezreal, but it's just not there. And you gotta think this is gonna be a Baron for SKT.
I want to talk about Duke's Poppy play right there, which was absolutely nuts. The flash heroic charge straight into the ultimate to just come in off the teleport. What a beautiful engage by Duke.
All right. Oh, goodbye, Peanut. Oh, okay, made it out with the flash. Faker coming in, wants to have some peanut butter. There it is. He's gone. And Baron claimed by SK Telecom.
Look at how quickly Gorilla's health bar was decimated by Devourer, Malmortius, Snowball, Blank. We've seen so little of Blank playing from ahead, but I love the aggression. And
Watch
here comes
Duke
the
right
Poppy
here.
play.
Absolutely gorgeous. Just coming in over the side right there, hitting the multi-man ultimate, and then sealing up a lot of these kills. I mean, at this point, there's nothing the ROX Tigers can do. They were too low, but this is the danger. There's so much protection with the Tahm Kench that if you're not the one playing the poke aggressively and you have to fight into them, you don't have tools.
Oh, Smeb, no flash, and this Nautilus is not going to make it out. Right back to Davy Jones' locker with that guy.
We haven't seen a lot of top Nautilus, it has to be said, recently.
You know what the funny thing is, though, Monty? ROX Tigers are a support Nautilus team. Gorilla is 5-0 on the season at support Nautilus. They almost never flex at the top lane. Is off the screen. Well,
Gage at the top. I mean, it's such aggression. Even our observer isn't ready for it, man. I don't think the ROX Tigers were. SK Telecom cruising to a Game 1 win as they finally move into the inhibitor turrets. Wow, Bang just 1v2ing Peanut and Kuro here.
14,000 gold.
Oh, Kuro! Gets out. Bang takes a lot of turret damage there, but meanwhile, SK Telecom just bulldozes their way into the bottom lane. They're going for that bottom inhibitor, and they've got it.
We tipped the ROX Tigers, but we said the one result we didn't want was a 3-0 for SKT. You got to say, maybe they're going to be able to have the mental faculty. You know, they're a year into their lifetime. Maybe they have the mental faculty to just throw away a game, because this is a complete wash for ROX Tigers.
I mean, they did in the World Championship, right?
Yeah.
They did. After losing that first game, they still picked up one in the series. But in this particular game, so much was decided at level 1.
Yeah.
that I don't think this really gets into your head if you're the ROX Tigers, because you know that your entire game plan changed as soon as you lost those summoners at level 1. It had to change Peanut's decision-making about where he was applying pressure on the map. It changed, of course, the freedom for Wolf to really start roaming around, affecting that mid lane alongside Blank. And, of course, Blank getting that first blood doesn't really play into the ROX Tigers' strengths. As a reminder, I mean, Peanut has had an incredible first blood contribution rate this season. He's at 66% of all first bloods that happen in ROX Tigers game.
Yeah.
Peanut is a part of. And to put that in perspective, he is 16% above the next number, which is Chaser at 50.
Whoa, Duke caught Peanut there. I didn't think he was going to. A lot of damage loaded on. The 1v4 going in favor of Duke for the moment anyway. SK Telecom moving up to the top lane. They want this inhibitor turret. They want the inhibitor after that. Going in now on to Smeb. Very tanky on that Nautilus. Whoa, maybe I spoke too soon. Not really. Okay, that's not very tanky. They're going for the inhibitor now. And SK Telecom, I wonder if they can just claim the win here. Peanut wants to stop Faker and change that one. True Shot Barrage goes through. SKT, a lot of people at about half health. Doesn't matter though. Gorilla goes back in for the engage, but no follow-up. Nice headbutt onto Duke. Duke though with the response ult. 2 men knocked up. Prey on the outskirts of the fight, trying to do the damage that he can. But the ROX Tigers can't stop themselves from losing that second inhibitor.
SKT be smart to back away. They don't have the health bars necessarily to keep this going. They got the objective they were looking for.
Yeah, no need to push it.
In the inhibitor in the top lane. Go back on another shopping trip and just let ROX Tigers continue to admire in the misery that has been this game.
Well, this is about as close to a perfect game as you can get in a grand finals. Just 1 kill on the side of the ROX Tigers. No turrets, no dragons, no nothing.
The unfortunate fact is, like, if these two compositions hit each other like this and SK Telecom gets this big of a lead in the early game, there's almost nothing that the ROX Tigers can do with a siege comp at this point in time. There's so many angles to teleport from for Duke and Faker to get into the back lines. The gold lead is so enormous. Their front line is tanky enough right now to absorb most of the poke. But I think if you're ROX Tigers and you're looking at the next game of the series, it's a little bit of a tussle.
Yeah, a little bit of engage, but there's no way ROX Tigers can really fight this now.
I think
it seems that way.
I think if you look at the next game, you say, okay, we didn't play well around our power spikes. They took that fight, the only fight they could have really come back on in the mid lane in this game, and they overcommitted.
Yeah.
So you don't go for the item power spike. You don't go for the triple AD carry composition anymore. We know they have a lot more tools, but they need something that can skirmish a little better in the like 3-15 minute early game.
That's right. Last inhibitor goes down. SK Telecom moving in to try to close out this first game. Sub 30 minutes. Smeb engages. Wolf's going to save his jungler for the moment there. Gorilla having to back off. ROX Tigers doing a pretty good job defending for the moment anyway. But those Nexus turrets are still going down. So many super minions moving into the base now from that top lane. Here comes Smeb from behind. This is it. It's do or die time. Kuro taken out before Duke even gets there. Before Smeb gets there, rather. Prey, but there's the double kill for Bang. Making a double kill for Blank too. Nearly an ace. Gorilla gets back, and SK Telecom will take a 29-minute Game 1 win. GG.
And there is just nothing you can do as the ROX Tigers. If you have to engage into that composition, the Kindred ult, the Zillion ult, the Tahm Kench Devour, these things mean you cannot kill anybody before they kill you.
The moment you say that comp, the ROX Tigers triple AD comp has to engage, something has gone horribly wrong, and that horribleness started at 1 minute into the game with Bang losing both summoners. Then Kuro, I guess he tried to create some lane pressure himself with an aggressive Valkyrie. We saw Blank was there in position. That lane went behind. All 3 lanes losing by 30 or more CS in the mid game. And just blitz. As close to a perfect game as you can ever ask for. No dragons, no turrets. 1 single kill for the ROX Tigers.
And SKT, you have to applaud them. They played around. They snowballed the game up with 2 summoners in level 1. It takes a special team to be able to pull off that kind of feat, to play that well around an early game and not give your opponent any breathing room at all.
Yeah, wow, what a statement by SK Telecom coming in saying, yeah, you guys may have won the regular season, you may have looked good coming in to the, to this finals, but we're SK Telecom, man. We're the world champions. We've won 2 championships in Korea in a row. Now they are 7-0 in grand finals games here in Champions. It's absolutely incredible. When we come back, guys, game 2 between ROX Tigers and SKT. Don't miss it.